Hello you fine people, it's Foolish Pedro here. I'm back here once again to look back at the best bits of my 100 Ways to Die series, which has just reached its 50th episode, and has totaled almost 2 million views. I've already made a video covering the first 30, so this is looking at numbers 21 to 50. I'll be picking my favourite death from each video, and giving you a sneak peek behind the scenes as I do. I'm not including 100 Ways to Crash, as I see that as its own separate series, even though it's only got one video in it at the moment. And I'm also not including 100 Ways to Meow and Stray, but if I did, it would definitely be this one.
Cajitas wares, if you have coin.
Right, let's start off with episode 31, Call of Duty Vanguard. I was once again in World War II trying to find 100 ways to die. I had a lot of fun getting squashed by tanks with the old pancake gag that I like to use in my videos. I learned pancake in a few different languages for this one, to get run over by tanks of multiple nationalities. The original audio comes from the Unreal Tournament games. The announcer shouts this if the player gets hit by a tank. But for this one I had to distort my own voice using digital software. I was going to pick this one, but then I changed my mind at the last minute. In the very first mission, the playable character meets a very sticky end, getting mercilessly beaten with a chair. Unlike a lot of guys my age, I never really got into the whole WWE wrestling thing. But I know sometimes the wrestlers will hit each other with chairs. So I knew the perfect clip was out there somewhere, but I had no idea what I was looking for. After around an hour searching, I finally found some audio that I thought would work. And it did, quite hilariously. I just chopped up the audio, so it sounds like the commentators are actually reacting to what's going on in the game, turning a rather harrowing moment into a rather hilarious one.
I am not here to give you what you want. Quite the contrary.
And now there's chair! Oh! What a swing! What impact! Well, it's like I said, the referee needs to stop it, but can't. The game has used that chair as a legal weapon to assault the body of the motionless Undertaker.
Yeah, that may be it for the Undertaker.
I absolutely love the Metro series, so I had a great time finding grisly ways to get killed by various beasties and radioactive threats in this game. I also downloaded all the game's DLCs for this video as well, which I hadn't played through before, so that was nice. In the Sam Story DLC, one of the bosses you face up against is this bat creature man thing, and he comes accompanied by a cloud of vicious vampire bats, which gave me an excuse to use the audio from one of my favourite videos on the internet, where a Northern Irish family find themselves in a rather sticky situation when a bat enters their house, and they frantically try and get it out. The audio fits perfectly with this clip.
There's a bat! Get it back! Whoa! Didn't even catch it! Oh! Oh! Fuck it!
I guess this is technically 100 ways to kill, rather than die, but that doesn't sound nearly as catchy. This video took a lot of time and research to make, as I tried to find almost every way to die in this game. This reminds me, I really need to go back soon and finish 100 Ways to Die in Hitman 2. Anyway, this game requires a lot of precision, sneaking and stealth, but my favourite death from the game has absolutely none of this, as you bring down a massive chandelier causing absolute chaos and destruction. This video is one of my favourites in the series. There wasn't really a huge amount of ways to die in this game, but I think the music and the funny captions make it a real pleasure to watch. It's also become one of the most viewed of my newer videos, thanks partially to the amazing The Last of Us HBO series. The algorithm really gave this video a boost when it was on. In order to find every death I could throughout the campaign, I tried things I hadn't done before, like doubling back on myself shortly after, spoiler alert, shortly after Tess dies. I kind of assumed the soldiers wouldn't burst through the doors, but they did. Plus I added this klaxon music, which I'm sure you've heard in a few movies and memes. I ended up filming this death twice, because the first time I actually managed to kill all the soldiers, so second time round I had to pull back my punches right at the end, to make sure I got killed.
Copy that.
God.
You, take out the door.
No!
Denied.
The YouTube algorithm is a beast I'll never understand. This video got 1,500 views in one day, and then things went back to normal. This boosts the slowly growing views and view time hours the last kick needed to get me to reach YouTube partnership status. So I owe a lot to this video. It also introduced many new faces to my channel. A few who thought this video was actually made back in 2008, when the game first came out, and I choose to take that as a compliment. I've always very much given these videos a very late 2000s, early 10s sort of style, as that truly was the heyday of 100 Ways to Die series. You don't see a lot of videos like this around these days. I really enjoyed playing through GTA 4 again. I don't think I truly understood it back in its day, but it really is ahead of its time. And it's hard not to laugh at the ragdolling of the Euphoria physics engine this game uses. My favourite death from this video happened entirely by accident. The plan was to drive off the freeway and just die crashing into the ground. But something else way funnier happened, as you're about to see. This video turned into very much a callback to my very first 100 Ways to Die video, which featured the original Modern Warfare 2. So with this Call of Duty reboot, it was time to reboot my old video as well. I even ended up using the same music that I used in that original video, which was a proper nostalgic hit for some of you guys. My favourite death in this one is one of my reoccurring jokes, and I think this is the best example of it. I like to use this piece of classical music, which is Edvard Grieg's Morning Mood. I use this lovely gentle piece of fluty music to indicate a moment of calm, and you just know it's going to get really interrupted by something. In this one mission you're above a military base, and I kind of went down there, caused some trouble, and then ran back up the hill, assuming to be followed by a bunch of bad guys who would just shoot me, as I pretended to sit down on this picnic table. But then something else happened entirely which I wasn't expecting, and creates the perfect juxtaposition to this lovely peaceful music.
Suit yourself.
Damn, what an epic game this was. I found plenty of ways to die in this one, getting killed off by many a magical beastie, and some awesome boss fights, which also led to some great QTE fails, which are always nice. I think my favourite death from this one came from the fight with Thor, where Kratos finds out he's not worthy.
One of us died today. Yes.
Last Christmas, I held a poll to see which game people would like to see featured, kind of as like a Christmas present from me to you, and Call of Duty World at War won. I'm glad it did. It's a great game, filled with many hidden details, including this one which I hadn't seen before. In the end, it's really just a classic death of me getting shot, but when I find interesting things like this whilst playing through the game, I like to bring attention to it, where you'll find some way of turning it into a death. Making this video almost broke me. GTA 3 is a very old game, and the gameplay is very limited, so finding 100 Ways to Die was a real struggle. After completing the main story missions, I only had about 40 deaths recorded, so I had to find another 60 somewhere. So I explored all over Liberty City, finding any piece of gameplay feature, interesting piece of the environment, anything I could use to try and create some sort of interesting caption to kill myself with. It really was proper scraping the barrel territory with some of these deaths. But I got there in the end. My favourite death in this one contains an almost ancient meme at this point. I'm sure many of you are way too young to remember the Rufflecopter. Where do I even start to explain the Rufflecopter? All you need to know is that it's a really dumb sound effect using a really old text-to-speech software. Anyway, here's the death with those Rufflecopter sound effects. I liked the first Dead Space. It was okay, but this remake truly did take it and make it something very special. I had a great time finding multiple ways to get Isaac ripped to bits. The gore and dismemberment is truly something to behold in this game. I think I picked some truly great movie references and sound effects to put in this video. But my favourite reference comes from Independence Day, taking the otherwise boring situation of running out of ammunition and turning it into something funny.
of my generation! Up yours!
Since returning to YouTube and making this series again, there was one game above all others I wanted to include, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's one of my favourite games of all time, but it had to be in the right headspace to play it again, because it is a lot of game. I really wanted to do justice to this masterpiece, so I did quite a bit of research for this video, where I learnt many new things, like about a rope bridge that turns into a trampoline, how to get stabbed by a vampire, and the one place in the map where you can guarantee to get struck by lightning. My favourite death in this one is something I forgot about but rediscovered whilst playing through this game again. I was trying to keep Arthur neutral throughout the campaign, so I wasn't committing too many good deeds or bad deeds. Sometimes to level out the morality meter, I'd wander around camp insulting campmates, and some of the dialogue had me creasing it with laughter. What I'd actually forgotten is what happens if you insult too many campmates. Okay, so maybe there's technically a knockout rather than a death, but who cares? It's funny.
You're as lazy as a toad and twice as ugly. I wish you'd stayed at sea with the other walruses.
Don't be like that, Arthur.
You ain't quite as fine as you think, Miss Jackson. Oh, don't shoot me over it.
I've had it with you now.
You're a sad little thing, ain't you?
That's enough!
Atomic Heart was an interesting one. I loved the experience of stepping into a whole new game world which I hadn't been to before. This game certainly had a lot of flaws, but overall I enjoyed myself. This video ended up being one of the longest in the series, mainly because after each death you're treated to a little cartoon version of the death, so I ended up having to record most deaths twice, which took a long time. This was mainly because the cartoons were quite small, so I had to zoom into the screen to re-record them. I was quite surprised to find out how specific some of these cartoons got. Devs really put a lot of time and effort into making these death screens, and I think my favourite one comes where you face off against the ballerina twins, and there's one particularly epic death, which even had its own cartoon. Dead Space 3 is definitely the weakest game in the trilogy, as it goes for a more action route, leaving behind the atmospheric horror that made the other two games great. But with all that said, this game is perfect for the 100 Ways to Die series, as there's a huge variety of various aliens and undead creatures that can kill you, as well as environmental hazards and quick time events you can fail. All of these make a great 100 Ways to Die video. Some of the monster deaths also have their own cinematics, and my favourite one from this one is more funny than it is scary. With perfect comedic timing, this is what happens when you get attacked by these twitching enemies. Sometimes when I was making these videos, I like to make something which I call an audio lasagna. This is layers of audio all stacked up on top of each other to make an absolute mess. My Jedi Fallen Order video contains two of these lasagnas. One comes when I accidentally activate an army of robots, where I stack this famous line from Rogue One on top of itself over and over again.
Please do not resist. Please do not resist. Please do not resist.
But my favourite one includes many audio layers, from things including Aliens, The Office, The Simpsons, and a cat having a Vietnam flashback. This game does look gorgeous, from one notable exception, the horribly rendered Wookiees, and I think this is a very appropriate reaction.
No, God!
Nope.
I think this might be my favourite game of the year so far. And there's only 1 month left to go, so who knows, maybe it's my game of the year. When it comes to funny sound effects, I don't always know exactly what I'm going to add whilst I'm filming. Sometimes the idea will come to me whilst I'm editing the video together. But when this bit in the campaign happened, I knew exactly which piece of audio I was going to use. A very famous line from Star Wars. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. It just fits perfectly to what happens in the cutscene. And also the little cartoon gulp noise I added brings it to another level.
So uncivilized.
Making this video really felt like coming home. I took a little break from making 100 Ways to Die videos to work on other projects. There's something about first-person shooters that just fit so well with these videos, and somehow I hadn't touched a Battlefield game yet. And Battlefield 3 was my first attempt at making one, and I think it came out pretty good. I have a few favourites on this one, including some Irish dancing, one of the most epic Doom Eternal music acts I've ever done, but my favourite death was a real challenge. If you play this game, one of the most memorable moments is when you start getting shot at by a jet whilst you're on the ground, and you end up shooting it out of the sky. So I started to think, I wonder if I can get hit by that jet as it crashes. This led to about half an hour of trial and error, and finally I got the answer. Yes, you can indeed get squashed by the plane as it crash lands. Back when I made my original 100 Ways to Die videos, I didn't really give a lot of thought to things like copyright. I was just trying to make cool videos back then, but now it's causing all sorts of problems. So I decided to remake one of my old videos without the copyright issues. And that's when the new 100 Ways to Die in Call of Duty Black Ops came along. I had to change the original music completely, but a lot of the deaths are still there, and there are a few new ones sprinkled in, including this one, which uses one of my favourite audio clips from all time. It comes from a BBC broadcast, all the way back when the last general election was announced. They spoke to Brenda from Bristol, and she delivered this classic line, which became an instant meme. I'm not too ashamed to say that I use this quote on a regular basis, and seeing this particular death with this particular audio always makes me laugh.
Oh, for God's sake, I can't stand this. There's too much... You're joking. Not another one?
This series always gives me a great excuse to go back and play games I haven't played for years, and I had a great time playing through Far Cry 3 again. I'd forgotten so much of the levels in this game, like all the Indiana Jones temple kind of stuff, and having a boss fight with a Titan. My favourite death in this one is the Temple Fire, with the protagonist of this game being called Jason, and the name Jason being shouted multiple times this level. I knew what had to be done, as we take a deep dive into the Press X to Jason meme from the game Heavy Rain, and I've thrown a couple of Lennies in there as well, from Red Dead Redemption 2, because why not?
You're willing to die for the one you love. Jason! Please, I'm coming! Jason!
Where are you?
Jason!
Hey, where are you?
Jason!
Benny!
One idea I had for a video was 100 Ways to Die in Spider-Man and Miles Morales, but after completing both games, I was short by about 40 deaths. So all the video clips I recorded for that sat on my laptop for well over a year, then I could finally find a whole bunch more ways to die and complete the video. But this one took quite a bit of time to edit. I couldn't seem to get it right at the start. So I moved a bunch of the clips around, fiddled with the audio until I was finally happy with it. This original clip was somewhere near the end, but I decided to move it to quite close to the front just because I really liked it, and it helped the video flow a lot better as well. There's nothing overly special about this clip. It's just Spider-Man being attacked by a bunch of robot dogs, but just something about the timing of it I think makes it really funny.
Nice doggy, kitty, robot.
has been said about the quality of the campaign of Modern Warfare 3, and I'm not going to go into it here. I still had a lot of fun making this video, and if it wasn't for the 100 Ways to Die series, I probably wouldn't have bought this game straight away. But you guys seem to love Call of Duty, so here it is. I'm a simple man, I love big explosions, and my favourite death from this video certainly has plenty of those, and a B-2 Spirit Bomber, which looks absolutely awesome. I love this plane so much. Which is maybe why I love this death so much. It combines an awesome looking plane and lots of explosions. And there you have it. Those are my favourite deaths from my recent videos. I'll probably make another one of these videos when we reach number 75. And then again at 100. So, I'll see you guys then. Stay safe out there and don't die.